guys, welcome back to Plow and Pantry. I'm Alicia, and today we are here with another Every Bit Counts Challenge update. If you are new to the Every Bit Counts Challenge, that is put on by Jess over at Three Rivers Homestead. I'll link that channel below, where you try to preserve something every day in August, no matter how small, because it does add up little by little over time. This week was a little rough. I got something done. I've got 7 things done for the week, but I did some lazier food preservation just to be able to say I did something that day. We've got construction on the house, there's meetings and appointments and things going on, and it was just, and some days, honestly, I was just tired and didn't feel like it, so it was like making myself do stuff. So starting off, I did get 6 quarts of spaghetti sauce canned. This was the last time I did spaghetti sauce, I was trying a new roast recipe. I like this one better. These were tomatoes from my garden. Last time were ones I bought at a farm, but I had been getting my Amish paste tomatoes out of the garden little by little and throwing them in a bag in the freezer, and I finally had enough to do a whole batch. And so I had my roaster up here with tomatoes in it, doing quarts. I think it's an 18-quart roaster. It was mostly full, but it cooks down quite a bit. So it's 6 quarts of sauce. I think I put a picture of it in my roaster before it cooked down on my Instagram. So after, let's see, spaghetti sauce was the first thing this week. I also got 4 pints of black beans done. That's what these jars are. This was really just because I was in my basement and I noticed that in my bean area, I had some black beans, like a quart jar of them, that were getting close to their expiration date. Now, I do think beans can go beyond their expiration date, but my experience, and I think the general rule out there, is you can't really keep beans forever, kind of like you can rice, because they do get hard, and no matter how much you cook them, they won't soften. So they do go bad in a sense, not like rancid, but they go bad to where you just don't want to eat them. So if I can them, it extends their shelf life. So we have 4 pints of the black beans. I just cooked up the rest of that jar of beans. I just canned what was left. So I'm saying this weird. So I cooked a lot of those black beans and just used them. I want to make a recipe for my husband, like a cowboy beans type recipe. And then also one of my favorite summer recipes, once I get peppers and things in the garden, is a black bean salsa that I absolutely love. And it uses things that I have all in the garden right now, corn, peppers, stuff like that. So I wanted to make some of that. So I cooked up a lot of those beans to use in the next few days. And then I canned what was left, which were the 4 pints here. This, onions and garlic, I have 2, so this is a pint together, 2 half pints and 1 half of onion, 1 half pint of garlic. These are from the garden. What I did was took the onions that I had them out curing on the back porch, and some of them, the problem here right now is it's so hot, and normally we have like wind and temperature changes. It's just been hot and dry, but some of the onions out there, because without the wind and things, there hasn't been as much airflow as normal on my porch. They were starting to have patches going soft. So what I did was I got them out of there, down to the basement, all trimmed up, and I took out the ones that were starting to show signs of wear, and I cut out any parts that weren't ideal, and I chopped the rest using my vegetable chopper and freeze dried them. Same thing with the garlic. I just took some that I had downstairs from my garlic harvest earlier and did these all together in one load. I had 3 trays of onions and 2 trays of garlic. I just peeled and minced those up in my food processor for the freeze dryer tray. I just have discovered over the last couple years that I prefer the freeze dried onion and garlic powder versus dehydrated. It's just more of a fresh onion flavor, fresh garlic flavor, whereas dehydrated is a little bit more of a cooked or roasted, and not always in a good way. It kind of concentrates it a bit. So I just prefer this way. So I did get a pint of onion powder and a half pint of garlic powder. I got a little more than a pint of this. I was able to top off my little spice container in there with a few tablespoons, and then this will go down to my basement to refill. My thing is still full in there, so these will also go down to my basement. I don't think this is enough for the year, but we'll see. We'll see what I do later in the year. So some of the more lazy things I did this week, hey, it's still food preservation, right? I still have cucumbers coming out of my ears. So many cucumbers. So I did something weird to try to see if it works. So most of the rest of the stuff is frozen, most of it, not all of it. Where'd they go? So I had this gigantic cucumber. I don't know if you can see how big those slices are. And so it was a little past its prime, like the rind had gotten kind of thick and hard, and it's a little bit seedy, but it tasted great still. It was a good variety of cucumber. So I sliced it and put it in this bag in the freezer because I have been really enjoying for the last few months just infused waters, and a lot of times I will put cucumber in those. And so normally I would never freeze cucumber because as it thaws, it'll just be like a mushy mess. But I figure if it's going into a water, an infused water, it doesn't really matter. In fact, it would infuse flavor even more into the water. So I did one bag just to try. This is one cucumber, you guys. It was huge. It was absolutely huge. So a cucumber, and then some of the onions I chopped, and I put a quart bag of chopped onion in here. This I can just use all winter long. I just take some out, and whenever I'm sauteing stuff for a soup or an omelet, I have already a bag in here about the size as a mix of onions and different colors of bell pepper for different, like if I want onions and peppers mixed, because you can throw frozen peppers and onions straight into the pan. You don't have to like thaw them out or anything. So that is something else that got done this week. And then another thing in the freezer, because it's zucchini season, I have been playing with those zucchini chips so much that I hadn't done my normal thing, which is just to shred and freeze zucchini. So I have 4 quart bags here of zucchini shredded, ready to go in zucchini bread in the winter. I will move these out to the deep freezer now. I was just keeping this stuff in here so that it would be accessible for this video. But 4 quart bags of the zucchini, and they are full. There's probably about between 3 and 4 cups in each bag, probably about 4 cups. And I use a whole bag per recipe. I know that's more than what most recipes call for, but I find it works just fine. And the more of the veggie you can put in there, the better, right? That's my theory anyway. So what was the last thing? Oh, not frozen. What's left of this? Okay, what's left of this is grape. This is grape juice from our grapes, and I bought a steam juicer this year, and it was the first time I used that. And so the grapes were. It's really good, by the way, and it's the first time I've done it that way. These are Concord grapes, which are not really fun to juice or try to get any other way. So the steamer was really nice. And you just have to clean them. You don't have to like de-stem them and everything. So that was cool. This was more full, but we've obviously been drinking on it. And I was asking people to not drink it all so I could show you. But this is probably the way I will go forward doing juice. I would have more than this half gallon, except that the Japanese fruit beetles have eaten the majority of my grapes this year. So that was a crop loss. But what this tells me, based on what I got from the vine, was that in the future, if I can control those beetles better, then I will probably get a couple gallons of juice off of each grapevine, because this was not that many clusters. I didn't think it would make this much juice. So I'm excited about that. So 6 quarts of spaghetti sauce, 4 pints of black beans, pint of onion powder, half pint of garlic powder, a bag of frozen, half gallon I'd say, of frozen cucumber slices, 4 quarts of shredded frozen zucchini, a quart of frozen diced onion, and almost a half gallon of grape juice. So that was this week's food preservation. And again, some days all I could do was just get something in the freezer. It's one of the easiest ways to preserve something, or to put it aside until later. This coming week, I am looking at a lot more variety in the garden. Our corn is coming in. We've been eating it fresh, but we're about done eating fresh corn. So I'm going to be doing some food preservation with that. Probably again, some freezing, just because I like to use frozen corn and things during the year over canned corn. Also, I'm not sure I'm going to make a corn salsa because I still have some corn relish downstairs. Also, green beans we've been eating fresh. We're about done eating fresh those, so I might can some of those up. We'll see. I haven't been very good about harvesting those, and so some of them are beyond their prime, and if you leave them on, it stops producing. So we'll see what happens with that. Peppers are starting to come in and turn. Like my peppers have been coming in, but the ones that are orange and red, which is the majority of mine, have not. They've just started to like fully ripen. So I will have some of those coming in, along with, I believe, some of my hot peppers. Like jalapenos have been going forever this summer, and Anaheims too, but my Sugar Rush peach peppers, my cayenne, my paprika, there was another, Tabasco peppers. Those are all just now starting to ripen. They've been sitting there on full bushes forever, it seems like, and they're just starting to turn color. So hopefully this coming week, I can experiment with my first time fermenting hot sauce. We'll see if they get all the way ripe, so I can do that this week. I do have more cucumbers. I have more pickling cucumbers. I'm not sure that I'm going to pickle more cucumbers. I might. The cucumbers, as they always do after a while, have started to get yellow, and they don't have very long lifespans. So I'm thinking one of the rows I might actually pull out and plant some more peas. I did start some peas a couple weeks ago. They've been slow to take off. They're not great for this heat. By this time at the end of August, we usually have a little bit cooler weather than what we've been having. So they're kind of barely surviving. And I'm wondering, though, if I can get, even though it's kind of late, if I can get another row of peas, because I had only done one partial row with various types, if I could get maybe a whole row of sugar snap peas or something in if I take out those cucumbers. So anyway, this is this week. I will see you guys next week for another update. And you are welcome to go look at my past videos. I will link my food preservation playlist for you that has all the Every Bit Counts challenge videos along with other food preservation. And I hope to see you guys on the next video.